Yo, I'm here taking a nice walk on the lake nearby my house. It's a really nice lake. You can see it behind me. I usually take a nice walk here to exercise, sometimes clear my mind. And today, for the purpose of this video, is to kind of reminisce and talk about 2025. Because man, was 2025 a year. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had its fun times, it had its real ugly times, especially, in the TCG hobby, enthusiasm community, all that good stuff. But overall, it was a great year. I think I came out looking around somewhere around $20,000 in sales, which to me was surprising. Again, when I started this, I think it was mid-May. I really didn't expect to hit anything near the tens just because I was new at it. And at that time, it's when things started to get a bit crazy with the Pokemon hobby and the Pokemon sealed products, where basically everything started to sell out. And it's slowly starting to restore, it's slowly starting to heal as I'm seeing more products available in the big box stores. I usually go to the big box stores every so often, not to buy, but just to see if the product is there. And if it's there and if it's available, that means we have a healthy or starting to look healthy system. Before, it was pretty bad. At the peak, people were standing in front of the line at Target around 7 o'clock in the morning, mind you. Target opened around 8 just to get a hold of products. Target opened at 8. You walk in at 8:05, everything was gone. Nothing, not a morsel. That's how bad everything was. So because of that, I couldn't sell sealed products when I started, like a little bit after that. So I had to move into a new avenue, which led me to the single cards and to TCG Player, which, let me tell you, opened up a whole other world of work stream and possibilities when it came to TCG. And I haven't looked back since. In fact, my entire business model has now been structured with the foundation of single cards. And most of the sales have come from the single cards. And I haven't gone back to sealed product. When I can get a sealed product or when I find a good deal online, that's when I usually get sealed products and sell them. I used to do these bundles. I love those bundles. There are 3-pack blisters with sleeve cards, and I'll sell them at a fair price, and they will sell out immediately. And distribution, forget about it. The only way you could get distribution, if you could get some contact or you have enough revenue or movement, whether financial or views, to get you in contact with distribution. But regardless, I don't think I was ready for distribution, especially not on the capital side. So it was fine. I went into the single players, I went to TCG Player with eBay, and I started selling the singles cards. Even that had its ups and downs. I had to learn a lot of things. I had to adapt and change a lot of my workflows to the single cards. I went very wide and then had to bring it back. What do I mean by I went very wide? I started just buying a whole bunch of TCG products, bulk. Pokemon, One Piece, Gundam, Magic, Dragon Ball Z, all of it. And try to, sell the single cards. But one of the biggest things I learned is if you don't know the game, it's very hard for you to sell it. In the single, especially in the single space, because you kind of have to know or at least understand some of the mechanics so you know what cards are the bangers and what cards are just bulk. And I kind of had to learn that the hard way. So I went from wide and I brought it back down to two, basically, which is Pokemon and Magic, predominantly Magic. Magic single cards, man, they sell. Lorcana, in all honesty, was what led me to the singles cards, because at that time I got into a huge, I am a collector myself, but I got into a huge fever with Lorcana. Like, I started ripping packs because I wanted to collect, and then I ended up with all this bulk, a whole bunch of bulk, and that's what led me to selling singles. And at the time, Lorcana was selling. It was selling like hotcakes, and then it just plummeted. And ever since, it's maybe one or two Lorcana sales a day, maybe. And my floor price for that is like 10 cents. Because I just want to get rid of it. Because I have so much. And I could do bulk, like little bulk sales of 50 cards for a set price. But I'm not in a hurry. I want to get rid of it, but I'm not desperate either. So they're just sitting there and they sell very slowly. Oh, the other one was Yu-Gi-Oh! Before I forget. Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I've been collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I was very, very young. And that was another one that I had a huge amount of bulk between me and my brother. So we grabbed all that, put it on TCG, and that's another one that completely crashed. And now, mind you, when I say this, when I say I put it on TCG Player, there is a huge labor that goes to doing that. Because you have to organize it, alphabetize it, load it, add it to the system, right? And then manage it. So it was a lot of time and effort spent for cards that don't really move. The ones that do move consistently, Pokemon and especially Magic, they move. So that's what I kind of stuck with. The other things I learned is I'm a big customer service. You know, I went through the parks, meaning I used to work at the theme parks, and I learned about customer service. That kind of stuck with me. So my feedback, that's important. When I got my first negative, whoo, that hurt. And it wasn't even my fault. But you work through those things. And working through the mechanics of the imperfections of the day-to-day operations, which sometimes, like I said, it's not just your operations. It could be outside forces, and sometimes it's you. I made my mistakes. I made a few mistakes, and some were costly, some were not, but they were all time-consuming. But you got to kind of learn through those to understand the mechanics, right? So it's a blessing. 2025 was a true blessing. Hopefully, maybe, the market kind of cools off, because I'm in the camp that markets like these, they're not good. What's happening with Pokemon, what's now happening to One Piece, these things they're not good. They're not good for business. Because one, if you can't grab the product, you can't sell it, there's no point. And even if you have the product, you can't sell it because it's too expensive. It's not good. You want flow. You want constant movement at the right price. Doesn't have to be the highest price, just the right price for things to flow, you know? So hopefully things kind of cool down, and maybe I'm eyeing towards the end of this year, depending how things go, I might go into looking for distribution, right? Because yeah, I made 20,000. I love it. Surprised by it, really. But now I'm looking for 40 to 50,000 for this year, if possible. Consistent, right? I want consistent, structured growth, not skyrocketing crazy. No, I want good, structured, organized growth, so then I can eventually open up a front. And I'm still debating what kind of front that would be, right? Whether it's a store or just open up a warehouse so I could get more inventory to sell online. Because I don't know, I want to open up a store, but I don't want to open up just another store. If I'm going to open up a store, I want to do something a little bit more creative, especially in the retro gaming side, right? Just a little peek of my crazy brain. I want to combine both worlds. I love TCG, I love retro video games. How do I combine that, right, to a product that I could put out and people will love and like? So let's see how that goes. But 2025 was pretty great. When it came to the community and it came to the online, it was kind of crazy. Well, I just felt that it was a lot of back and forth unnecessarily. A lot of people pointing fingers, a lot of people talking smack about one another. For again, and look, I understand people say that this is a kid's game, but it's not. It's not a kid's game. Like, we kind of have to move away past that. I think, at least now, especially with how much money moves here, we can agree that this is more than just a kid's game. But doesn't mean it shouldn't be available and accessible to the kids, right? So all that back and forth, all that banter, wasn't healthy. It's not good. It doesn't help anybody. And I hope we all kind of get past that and move to a better, more collaborative, let me say, community, right? Because there are a lot of great people in this community. I've met a lot of great people traveling and doing some events, not a lot, but getting to know people and be part of this community now as an adult. Because it was different when I was a child, right? It was different when I used to go to my LGS and play tournaments and things like that and trade cards. Very different now than when you're an adult. One, you have disposable income, so if you see something, you're more inclined to buy it. But it's great. It's a great community. It's great people. Just that whole banter in 2025. Understandable, right? Because again, there was a lot of hands on the cookie jars. Because there was a lot coming from Pokemon. It's now the #1 brand in the entire world. So what do you expect, right? You can invest in it. You could play it. You could collect it. You could burn it on fire. You could do so many things with this product, right? And that's just the cardboard side of it, right? The video game, the merchandising. There's so much when it comes to Pokemon, right? And Magic, something that I was never really into, I'm now into, right? It's another line of product where there's so much going on, right? And some of it's feeding that fire or that fuel from Pokemon, right? So it's kind of taking off, and new eyes are starting to look at it. Some for good reasons, some for really bad reasons. But that's what you get, right? You get both sides of the coin. So to close it off, I'm kind of rambling on now. 2025 was a really, really good year. It was. I learned a lot. We had sales. Now, those are gross sales, right? Well, the profit, I'm still getting into the numbers of the profit from buying inventory, getting used to buying inventory and how that mechanics work. I'm going to start putting out more videos into the operational side, right? I kind of want to break it down to the different pieces of what I do, from the operational just to conversations between us like this, right? And to events and traveling when it comes to getting this up and running, right? But 2025 was a good year. Let's hope for 2026.